Welcome to the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl on a beautiful morning in Orlando, Camping World Stadium, where we kick off the final day of 2016 with a matchup of ranked teams. The Louisville Cardinals featuring the #1 scoring offense in the nation and a Heisman Trophy winner against the LSU Tigers and their stout defense. And hi, everybody. Alongside Greg McElroy, I'm Dave Pasch. Tom Luginbill will join us in a bit. It's the day that college football fans have been waiting for all year. Obviously, we have a great lead into the two college football playoff semifinal games later today over on ESPN. And Greg, is someone who won a national championship, what are the players for Alabama, Washington, Clemson, and Ohio State experiencing right now?
You've been telling yourself for the last 4 weeks, it's just like every other game. And then you get out there, the national anthem is being played by Josh Groban, a Grammy winner. So you just have to focus on the task at hand and focus on every single play. Don't focus on the magnitude of the game in which you're playing.
All right, we'll talk more about those games as we go on throughout this telecast. As for this game, Louisville started the year 4-0, clobbered Florida State, but lost 3 games. A close one to Clemson, then lost their final 2 games of the regular season against Houston and Kentucky. But Lamar Jackson wins the Heisman Trophy, the first Louisville player to win the honor. It was a spectacular season. As you look at all the Heisman winning quarterbacks, he had the best rushing total, #2 to Ty Detmer for total offense, and he had 51 touchdowns on the season. He is the most dynamic player in college football. Quite a challenge for the LSU defense today, Greg.
He's the most explosive player I've seen at the quarterback position since Mike Vick. Every single time he's on the field, it is must-watch television. He has such great acceleration, tremendous length. Even when the defense plays the offensive snap perfectly, he can make a guy miss and turn a sack into a touchdown. He is absolutely electric, and going up against a very good LSU defense today, LSU is going to have their hands full.
And it was a wild year, Greg, for the Tigers. Obviously, the coaching change after the loss to Auburn. Les Miles is fired. Ed Orgeron is named interim head coach. He goes 5-2. And then to the surprise of many, maybe the timing more than anything, Ed Orgeron is named head coach right after the regular season. Now, he will not have his best player today, Leonard Fournette, who was injured off and on throughout the season. The reason Orgeron gave us different than what we were hearing publicly, in that it is simply injury related. He says Fournette could not practice, that he would not be able to play in this game. If he were healthy, Orgeron told us he believes Fournette would play. Now, the guy replacing him at running back is pretty good, Tom. Darius Geis, he was named first-team All-SEC.
Oh, he certainly is, guys. No Fournette, no worries. Darius Geis, the true sophomore. You're not going to see a drop-off in production with this offense, but what you will see is a different style of back. With Leonard Fournette, you have that downhill rusher, the guy that's going to get his shoulders square, but with Darius Geis, a little bit more jump cut ability, a little bit more ability to create in the backfield if things aren't ideal, and then more importantly, from an offensive scheme standpoint, Steve Ensminger, the interim offensive coordinator, is going to employ a little bit more zone schemes to exploit the cutback lanes in the vision and patience of Darius Geis. They are awfully confident in what they have in the backfield, and the offensive line, guys, is as healthy for LSU as it has been all year long.
And Tommy, they'll be going up against a depleted Louisville defense. More on that when we come back. It's LSU and Louisville, followed by the college football playoff semifinals. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, and Tom Luginbill in Orlando. LSU and Louisville getting set to do battle in the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl. The head coach of the Cardinals is Bobby Petrino. Now, he essentially runs the offense. He is the play caller. But the Cardinals are without their offensive coordinator in title, Lonnie Galloway, after he was suspended for his involvement in the Wake Forest game plan sharing scandal. Louisville said Galloway accepted game plan info from Wake radio broadcaster Tommy Elrod before the teams played on November 12th. Elrod, who also shared game plan information with other schools, was subsequently fired. Louisville was fined the maximum by the ACC, $25 grand. Very little beyond those facts has been revealed yet, including why the plans were shared and what games specifically could have been affected by the information leaks. Petrino told us that he certainly will miss Galloway's contributions. They're also going to miss a handful of guys on defense. Shaq Wiggins and Trumaine Washington corners are out. Josh Harvey Clemens didn't warm up. We're not expecting to see him. And then two players, including James Hearns, who leads the team in sacks, were involved in a shooting. Both suffered gunshot wounds in a celebration at a party after Lamar Jackson won the Heisman. LSU won the toss and will receive the football. And a great day of football across the ESPN networks kicks off. And here is Geis on the return for LSU. Geis past the 25-yard line. Out of bounds at the 27. Brandon Harris started the season at quarterback for LSU, but after a couple games he was replaced by Purdue transfer Danny Etling, who's 6-3 this season as the starter. This is his first career bowl game, and he's coming off maybe his best game. Their regular season finale, he threw for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns against Texas A&M. Darius Geis, the sophomore tailback. And a pass play, a deep shot here to Dupree on the first play, and it's a terrific grab. Malachi Dupree, junior, who might head to the NFL with a huge gain to the 37.
Missing corners for Louisville. LSU says we're going to take a shot on the first play. So much for a long layoff. Trying to be aggressive early in this game. Great throw by Danny Etling, and an even better catch by Malachi Dupree.
Going at Ronald Walker for Louisville there. Who's replacing the injured Trumaine Washington. Now they'll run Geis here on first down in Louisville territory. And Geis turns it upfield and gets hammered out of bounds by Chucky Williams at the 34-yard line.
Darius Geis has a tremendous amount of talent. Not quite the downhill back that we're used to seeing from LSU's offense. Leonard Fournette loved to run between the tackles. Darius Geis, however, much better on the perimeter, has tremendous speed and is very versatile and effective in the passing game. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch today, and then again in 2017 as the feature player.
Rushed for 285 yards against Texas A&M. Straight ahead, big hole, and a first down for Geis to the 25-yard line. He actually had 2 games this year over 250 yards, the second player in SEC history to do that in the same season. The other was Mo Williams of Kentucky 20 years ago.
And Dave, you see that little wiggle, just that little crease wiggle. He's got great feet in the hole, so he doesn't need a wide open gap. That's how they're going to exploit his strengths today, allow him to use those jump cut moves.
First down at the 26 of Louisville. And here's Geis again. Dropped at the 22-yard line after a gain of 4. Monty Caban on the tackle for the Cardinals, who actually are pretty good defense against the run. They give up just 110 yards per game, good for 10th in the country.
This will be one of the biggest challenges LSU has faced all season when it comes to rush defense. Louisville does a really good job staying within the scheme and are much stouter at the point of attack than some of the teams LSU faced late in the year, with the exceptions being Florida and, of course, Alabama.
Yeah, we had them in Fayetteville. They absolutely torched Arkansas in that game. Darrell Williams is now in at running back. He's 235 pounds. Instead, Etling to throw, and the pass batted down, incomplete. He was going for Dupree, trying to target one of those corners, but Jonathan Grenard knocked it down, a freshman.
This is actually going to go on J.D. Moore, the fullback. You see, as he's approaching Grenard, he slows his feet a little bit. With this being a quick game type of throw, he's got to attack that defensive end or outside linebacker and not allow Grenard to stop, recognize, and go vertical to knock the pass down. Poor play by the fullback, J.D. Moore.
Now on third down, Etling to the air, has time, and the pass is high, but it is incomplete. Durrell would have been short anyway, So 4th down, and here comes the LSU field goal team, and that's big for Louisville, missing all those guys on defense after giving up a huge play to start the game.
Traven Doral, very sure-handed. That was his first drop of the season to stop the drive for LSU. A good job by Louisville's defense, holding strong and not allowing 6 on the opening possession.
Colby Delahousie on for the 39-yard attempt, only his 13th attempt of the season, and this one not even close. He totally ripped it wide to the left. So the Cardinal defense holds. What a waste of a big play for Ed Orgeron's team. And now Lamar Jackson takes the field for the first time when we come back. Welcome back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. No score early on and missed field goal by LSU on its first drive. Let's look at today's keys to the game. Brought to you by Franklin American Mortgage Company.
LSU defense has to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. He is explosive when he gets out on the perimeter. Such a dynamic runner, but not very accurate from the pocket. Only a 57% completion percentage on the course of the season. For Louisville, they can't turn the football over. The last 3 games, they had a -7 turnover margin, several fumbles, a few interceptions from Lamar Jackson. They have to keep a clean sheet against an opportunistic LSU defense.
And they're just going to hand it off here on first down to Radcliffe. Nice move by Radcliffe, and he picks up a first down, gaining 12 yards. So Lamar Jackson is the youngest Heisman Trophy winner of all time, and he'll turn 20 a week from today. And coming into today, he is 282 yards away from an ACC record. One more touchdown pass will match Teddy Bridgewater's school mark for 31 touchdown passes in a season. He's had 8 100-yard rushing games, and he was the MVP of their bowl game last year, accounted for 4 touchdowns in that game as a true freshman. His first pass of the day, and a ton of time. Bumps into his own guy, brought down to the 36, but Greg, that should be a good sign right there. This offensive line, as there's a little pushing and shoving after, it's been bad all year, and boy, Jackson had a ton of time there to throw the football.
LSU has a tremendous advantage in the trenches. The good thing is, when you have Lamar Jackson at quarterback, the defensive line can't be overly aggressive, because if they run too far past Lamar Jackson, he can take off and make big plays north and south.
And Jackson bottled up here, gain of 1. It's Duke Riley making the play along with Arden Key, first-team All-SEC outside linebacker. Third down.
Now, Greg, you make the reference to not rushing past the level of the quarterback, because then you give Lamar Jackson the front door. I think LSU is trying to get a feel on whether or not they can rush the passer with 4 and drop the rest, because we haven't seen pressure just yet.
Dave Aranda, the outstanding defensive coordinator, who just got a 3-year extension, making almost $2 million a year. A delayed blitz here as Jackson dumps it off, and Bonifant gets lit up. Incomplete. Dante Jackson with a huge hit. And it's 4th down.
What a great hit right there by Jackson. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, throwing to his right behind the line of scrimmage is one of the zones that he has really struggled with. Right there, obviously misses an open receiver in Bonifant. He's actually throwing to that zone behind the line of scrimmage to the right. He's only 2 of 16 on the season coming into today's game. Obviously 0 for 1 so far.
It's an incredible stat, because you think that'd be one of the easiest throws. Short punt. Oh, White misjudged it. Did it hit him? They ruled that it did not, but it's still down at the 5-yard line, and so LSU will have to start deep in its own territory. It goes down as a 58-yard kick, and Tre'Davious White able to dodge it as he lost it in the sun there.
The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports, and the Lincoln Motor Company.
This was yesterday at the luncheon. Several competitions, including the Oreo eating challenge. By the way, these two schools wasn't a wing eating competition per se, but LSU ate 4,000 wings in one setting, and Louisville ate 3,000. Wow. Lewis Neal, I was told, had the most.
Luganville put down 450 the other night, so.
I'm a gamer.
Yeah, you can go.
Louisville backed up on its 5-yard line for the second possession. Oh, Geis in trouble in the backfield and brought down. Half-yard loss on the play as Stacey Thomas was there for the Cardinals. Ed Orgeron coaches this game. No audition needed. He's now the head coach and was the Ole Miss head coach a decade ago. And many people point to that record 10-25, but that was his first job. Ole Miss was not good back then. Did a great job as the interim coach at SC, and obviously with this group, 5-2 record.
He was at Ole Miss. He just tried to have his hand in every single position. Now he's a facilitator and has done a great job hiring fantastic people around him, including Matt Canada, their new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's from Pitt as Geis runs straight ahead past the 10 and upended at the 13 by Chucky Williams. So 3rd and short here. Mentioned at the outset, though, it was surprising just the timing of the hire, given how great of a job LSU is and how many candidates there might have been. But Orgeron is a Louisiana guy. The players really pushed for him. Yeah. And Joe Oliva, the athletic director, made the hire.
He's a tremendous recruiter and an outstanding motivator. He recruited me at Ole Miss, and man, I wanted to run through a brick wall just after talking to him for 5 minutes. I think he's going to do a nice job in Baton Rouge.
Things worked out for you okay, though. On 3rd and short, Louisville able to hit Geis at the line of scrimmage. Now, Geis fell forward, but I think he's short. Yep, they're going to mark him a yard shy of the first down. Kyle Shortridge kept Geis from reaching the marker, and so LSU is going to punt from its end zone here.
Number 63, KJ Malone, gets beat right there at the point of attack by Kyle Shortridge. You have to win in the trenches if you're LSU. You pride yourself in being physical at the point of attack. Right there, Malone just not able to keep leverage.
Growden punt. Fielded at the 42. Alexander, no shot. Oh, LSU with great speed. It was Donnie Alexander getting down there for the Tigers. Midway through the opening frame here in Orlando, no score between Louisville and LSU.
Lamar Jackson is the best player in college football, but there are parts of his game where he can really improve, particularly throwing behind the line of scrimmage to the right. His footwork isn't always dialed in, Tom. Tell us why it's more difficult for a right-handed passer to throw to his right-hand side.
Well, Greg, if you're taking a snap under center, you're in the shotgun. When you're going left behind the line of scrimmage, you're just almost turning two. But when you're right-handed and you got to go to the right, you got to flip your hips around, and you still got to have a good base. We'll get back a little bit more here on the accuracy part right after this play, Dave.
All right, play action here for Jackson, setting up, going to take a shot here, and he has a man. It's caught inside the 10 by Quick. 1st and goal, Louisville. A 57-yard dart by Jackson to James Quick, his big play man.
What an incredible throw off play action by Lamar Jackson. No problem with his footwork there. Had plenty of time, pitched and threw a strike downfield. If you look at his feet, look how balanced he is. Great release, nice and easy, takes the hit. That's the Heisman Trophy winner that we know and love.
And the design run here for Jackson. Brought down after a gain of 1 by Devon Godshaw.
You know, Greg, with that accuracy, he's been very, very good at intermediate levels and over the middle, as you referenced right there. A good sound base with his feet. But everything about the quarterback position starts from the feet up. Accuracy is the fundamental essence of it. And that's what Bobby Petrino, going back all the way to last spring, has preached with his young quarterback.
Play action. Jackson rolling out. Fires back to the near side. Incomplete. Trying to hit his tight end Keith Tobridge. Well, it's 3rd down and goal here for Louisville.
That was well covered by LSU. Tried to sneak a tight end out the back door. Lamar had to fire it wide, because if he missed inside, it could have very easily gone the other direction. Now, looks like LSU is going to play man-to-man across the board. If I'm Louisville, I might get Lamar Jackson in some type of run play here, because you have 5 offensive linemen to block 5 guys in the box.
Instead, Jackson throws, batted in the air and incomplete. Intended for Staples. So LSU gets a big play in its first drive. Misses a field goal. Louisville gets a big play down to the 9-yard line for a 1st and goal, but now goes 3 and out.
Bobby Petrino doesn't like it, but that was outstanding coverage by Dante Jackson. Just a little slant route. Not easy to cover, but you understand when you're this tight, you don't have to give up a lot of ground because there's not a lot of room for the wide receiver to work. You can sit on things underneath. Exceptional coverage by the corner.
And Creaky gives Louisville the lead with a 24-yard field goal. So it's 3-0 midway through the first quarter. Cardinals.
Cassidy Hubbard for the CarMax Drive What's Possible update. And Kentucky coming off their win over Louisville in the season finale. Rough start against Georgia Tech in the Tax Slayer Bowl. Steven Johnson sacked and stripped. P.J. Davis scoops and scores 41 yards for the touchdown. They've since tacked on a field goal. Yellow Jackets up 10-0 over on ESPN. Dave, Greg, back to you guys.
Hi, Cassidy, and Happy New Year to you. Final day of 2016. Again, we got the college football playoff semifinals over on ESPN after we're done here from Orlando. Louisville with a 3-0 lead after a 24-yard field goal by Blanton Creaky and a missed LSU field goal try. And that kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback. It will come out to the 25 for the Tigers.
That last scoring drive was all set up by an outstanding throw by Lamar Jackson, and an even better route by wide receiver James Quick. Look at how patient he is as he climbs on Jamal Adams' toes. Fakes like he's going to the corner, breaks it across to the post, and man-to-man coverage. That is almost impossible to cover. Fantastic execution by the Louisville offense.
Hey, Greg, you know, Dave Aranda, the LSU defensive coordinator, he's in a bit of a pickle, because if he brings pressure and he mans up on the outside, he has nobody to account for the quarterback run. So Lamar Jackson's feet scare the heck out of you. But so far, they have not been able to provide pressure with just 4 down.
Well, Louisville's done that to everybody this year. The #1 offense, as Etling now is going to let it fly, and wide open is Dupree. Pass midfield and to the 49, 26 yards. And again, all kinds of injuries on the back end for Louisville, and Dupree was wide open.
Beautiful execution from Danny Etling. A little subtle play action. Get Malachi Dupree running across the field. So difficult to defend this pro-style offense when your quarterback is in rhythm and he has time to throw. Have to respect the run naturally when you're playing LSU, but it also forces you to play on islands in the secondary too against their wide receivers.
Off play action, Etling in trouble. And down he goes, back at the 36. It's Devontae Fields. Fields, a former Big 12 Player of the Year at TCU. Now finishing up his career at Louisville.
He just beats Maya Tahuma right underneath. Sets him up to the outside. Danny Etling doesn't have a chance when you're one-on-one with Devontae Fields. So difficult to try to escape, especially when it's coming to your backside because your left tackle whipped.
Well, yeah, that's one of those lookout blocks where the left tackle turns around and yells to the quarterback, look out. 2nd and 25 after the 15-yard loss. LSU trying to run the ball, and Williams brought down by Fields. Now, we mentioned that Devontae Fields was at TCU. And things didn't work out there for some off-the-field issues, and so Fields went to junior college He also was injured, too, at TCU, was suspended and dismissed, and went to Trinity Valley Community College. Had a great year at Louisville last year with 11 sacks. His numbers are down this year, but it's interesting. All the talk about Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey, and the Louisville coaches told us that Fields probably shouldn't play. He's really not 100%, but he badly wants to be out there with his teammates. That's why he's playing in the bowl game despite injury. 3rd and 24, Etling looking for somebody, and it is incomplete. Intended for Chart. Alexander in coverage.
Greg, you know, Devontae Fields once again applying some pressure there on the bottom of the edge. He and Myles Garrett were high school teammates together. And if you look at both of their games, I know Myles Garrett gets a lot of publicity, a lot of looks. He's going to be a high draft choice. I'm not so sure the overall versatility and scheme versatility of Devontae Fields doesn't give him a higher ceiling for the next level.
Talking to people around the Louisville program, they say he loves to compete. If you watch him this year, it's obvious.
Oh, Louisville almost got that, instead drilled the punter. The kick will go into the end zone, but remember now, it's 4th and 24. Devontae Pete almost got the punt, but instead got Groudon, and let's see what the ruling is here, whether it's running into or roughing the kicker. Pac-12 crew, Mark Duddy, a referee, so it looks like it's just going to be running into the kicker, which means it'll be Louisville possession. They can ask LSU to punt again if they want.
Running into the kicker, receiving team, number 11, 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
And Louisville averages 8 penalties per game. Now, normally they'll call roughing if you hit the plant foot. Let's see. Does he hit the plant foot? Oh, he hit the kicking foot, but he drilled it.
I think if it wasn't 4th and 24, that could very easily be called roughing. I don't understand why you would come after a punt when you're likely going to get good field position because your defense just got to stop.
That hit a Louisville player, but it's recovered by the Cardinals at the 25. It got the backside of a Louisville player, and then it was Anthony George who had hit, but recovered by Louisville. It was Travion Samuel who recovered it. Well, it's the games we've all been waiting for. First, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Washington and Alabama in the first semifinal of the day. And then tonight at 7 Eastern, Ohio State and Clemson, the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. All right, Greg, who do you got in both games?
I think Alabama's going to take care of business in the first game. Was fascinated with some of the stats I came across yesterday. I read that only 6 defensive players have multiple touchdowns this year. 3 of them are members of the Crimson Tide defense. And I like Ohio State in the second semifinal. It's just hard to pick against Urban Meyer in that situation.
Jackson in trouble, and he's sacked at the 6-yard line. True freshman Devin White there for LSU gets him back at the 5-yard line. A loss of 19 on the play.
What a nice blitz there by Devin White. We talked about some of the problems that this Louisville offensive line has had this year. LSU so physical and so fast at the second level. Devin White had a guard right in his lap. He swam him, made a big play.
For his first sack of the season, now Jackson gets outside here. He stumbled, tried to hurdle an LSU defender. Now you might be able to do that against a smaller guy like he did against Syracuse, but that's Tre'Davious White, who's over 6 feet tall, and it did not work.
Yeah, he wasn't taking the bait. Tre'Davious White says, I'm as big as you are. I'm not going to go low. I'm going to put my face mask right in your chest if I can. Still goes to show you the tremendous athleticism trying to jump over a 6'1" corner that Lamar Jackson has.
3rd and 21. Jackson drilled as he throws, incomplete. Again, pressure by LSU in the face of the quarterback, and it's 4th down.
Lamar Jackson this year has been hit more than any other quarterback in the Power 5. Now, part of that has to do with the fact that he has run the ball so many times, but a lot of it also has to do with some of the inefficiencies you'll see from the Louisville offensive line. They've had a hard time so far keeping these LSU defenders in front of them.
Mason King will punt from his 1-yard line. White trying to shield the sun. Remember, he had trouble with the first one, has trouble with this one, but able to hang on to the ball. And White is free. This guy's dangerous with the ball in his hands. Out of bounds near the 50-yard line. Man, that sun must be bright because White is having all kinds of trouble, but he's such a terrific athlete that he's able to corral it.
I mean, look at the sun. I mean, you can see it at the top of the screen. The fact that he was able to corral that football, make the first guy miss, then turn it into a positive return is absolutely tremendous. Tre'Davious White is something else on defense and in special teams.
That was really cool, Greg, what he did. He's a guy that's a first-team All-American. He thought about leaving early, but he stayed at LSU. Not only that, as Etling throws complete to Dupree. First down to the 40 and to the 34, just to finish up on the Tre'Davious White story. He wrote a letter to the LSU fans thanking them. It reminded me a lot of what Kirk Cousins did when he was at Michigan State. Spoke at Big Ten Media Day about what a pleasure it is to play college football.
Especially playing for...
Greg, I really like this offensive approach from Steve Ensminger for LSU. They're getting number 15, Malachi Dupree, in the slot at times, getting him matched up against the linebacker. These are very favorable matchups in the passing game for Danny Etling.
First down on the 34 for LSU. Here's Geis. And Geis with another outstanding run, just short of another first down. Chucky Williams trips him up.
Took 4 Louisville defenders to bring down Darius Geis right there. He is so strong and he's so well built. Very balanced back. Can go outside or inside. Prefers outside, but he's a patient runner as well. I really believe next year as the feature back in Matt Canada's offense, he could develop into a Heisman Trophy contender at LSU.
So movement up front, but perhaps D'Angelo Brown of Louisville caused the LSU movement.
Offside, defense number 97 in the neutral zone with contact. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Greg, you think about Geis, he's only started 4 games because of obviously playing behind Leonard Fournette, but he's got 1,300 yards almost on the season.
Yeah, he makes his carries count, that's for sure. And now with an innovative offensive approach that Matt Canada is going to bring to Baton Rouge, I think he's going to get a lot of touches and even more open space than he gets right now.
Here he is off the left side on second down and doesn't get anything there. How different will this LSU offense be? Because obviously that has been a point of contention, a hot topic around LSU for years with Les Miles and Cam Cameron.
It's going to change drastically. Now, they're going to still obviously recruit the best offensive linemen in college football, so they're still not going to lose their identity. They're going to be run first for as long as Ed Ogeron is the head coach, but they're going to have some different styles of runs, some triple option principles that are very difficult to defend.
2nd and 9, they run Geis between the tackles, and he pushes the pile to the 16-yard line before the whistle stops play, so a gain of 3.
Greg, you see that forward lean right there from Darius Geis. You know, the statistic that comes in little bitty chunks but adds up over the season is the amount of rush attempts you have that end in 0 or negative yardage. You're not going to have that with Darius Geis. He's going to be able to create if there's penetration, and even if he stood up, he's going to fall forward for you, and it starts to add up over the course of the season.
He's one of the best in the country, Tom, when it comes to yards after contact, and I think that's one of the best stats to measure the production of a running back.
Etling to throw on 3rd down, dumps it off to Geis, and Geis able to break a tackle and get the first down and more. What a run. Man, how many times have we seen Leonard Fournette face wash a defender? That time it's Geis for 12 yards.
Talk about yards after contact. Looked like he was going to be stopped short. Just a nice little screen. He, of course, evades 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, 4 tackles. And is finally dragged down inside the 5-yard line. Talking to the Louisville coaches, they say looking at Darius Geis, he runs angry. He has something to prove. I think that run right there is exactly what they're talking about.
First and goal for the Tigers. It's Geis again. Geis with great effort after contact again to the 1-yard line. Keith Kelsey hit him first, but you better wrap up on Geis. Even though Geis listed at 212, he packs a punch. LSU trails, though. Louisville 3-0 after 1, but will have a second and goal when we come back. The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Celebrating its 12th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Start of the second quarter as we welcome you back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. LSU on the doorstep with a second down and goal. Darius Geis has touched it 5 times already on this drive, has 10 carries in the game. We'll see if he gets one here on the goal line to try to punch it in for his 15th rushing touchdown.
If you're LSU, if you're thinking about possibly throwing it, you would do so on second down and probably come back and try to run it on third down. So Louisville's defense got to be aware of that.
They got 3 tight ends in the game. It is a pass play. Etling has a wide open man. An easy touchdown. Colin Jeter. First touchdown catch of the season. Well, you called it, partner, but Louisville wasn't anticipating that.
Colin Jeter just running a little corner route off play action. Our good friend John Gruden likes to call this Spider 2. Why banana? Can't beat it, especially when you have such a dynamic downhill run game.
All right, break that down because people hear it and they don't know what it is. So why is the position, right? Tight end. What's Spider? What's
Spider 2 is the protection.
Okay.
So both running backs or fullbacks will be going in and trying to chop block the end man on the line of scrimmage, and you sneak that corner to the back of the end zone. You have a guy in the flat. Almost impossible to defend.
And LSU takes a 7-3 lead. Danny Etling's 10th touchdown pass of the season.
After the LSU touchdown, Lamar Jackson about to get another chance, but the best player in college football can't play quarterback by yourself. Nobody open downfield. Great coverage in the back end. Forces Lamar Jackson out of the pocket, and a good job rallying by LSU's defense. They got to find an answer for some of the pressures they're bringing. It's only a 4-man rush. It's one-on-one in the front. Linebacker for LSU beats the right guard, Keola Mahoney, and sacks Lamar Jackson to set up a long second down. They have to do a better job, Louisville does, of protecting Lamar Jackson and giving him time to not only find receivers downfield, but also, if he were to escape to some open space.
Cameron Gamble kicking off, and Samuel will take a knee. So Lamar Jackson will start on the 25. Let's take a look at how LSU has pressured him. He's been hurried on 3 of his 7 dropbacks, been sacked once, hit twice. He's 1 of 5. The only completion was that 53-yard bomb. And he's got -6 rushing yards on the day.
And he's been sacked a bunch. The good news is for Louisville, he's taken care of the football when he has gotten hit today. Last couple games of the season, he got bit by the fumble bug. Put the ball on the deck 4 times in the last few games. Not the numbers we're accustomed to seeing from Lamar Jackson early on.
First down for the 25, and they're going to run Jeremy Smith. Nowhere to go. Gain of a yard that time. You voted for Lamar Jackson, correct?
I did.
And most people did, but it was close towards the end of the season. For a while there, it looked like it was going to be a runaway, maybe the biggest victory we've ever seen. But because of those turnovers, he let some people back in.
He did. To me, it was still a runaway, though. It was Lamar Jackson and everybody else. Dalvin Cook on my ballot as well. Surprised he didn't get invited to New York, and his performance last night was obvious that he should have been included.
Great win for Florida State. Here's Lamar Jackson on second down. And he gets a handful. Donnie Alexander on the wrap-up. It'll put Louisville in third down at about 4, so much more manageable after the 5-yard pickup.
Greg, this is what LSU has got to do. They have not been able to get ahead of the chains on first and second down to be in a manageable situation on third down. And Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator, he is treating this offense like it's option football, just like he did when he faced Braxton Miller or Colin Kaepernick at his various stops defensively. That's how they approach this from a gap responsibility standpoint.
And Jackson looking for his first completion on third down, 0 for 3. Here is Lamar, rushed out of the pocket, nowhere to go. Pushed out of bounds at the 30, bringing up a punt. And so Duke Riley in there along with Tashawn Bauer. Riley is wearing number 4 today, normally wears number 40. And the reason that he is wearing number 4 is a tribute to the late Joe McKnight, who was tragically shot and killed a month ago. They went to the same high school. McKnight was Riley's mentor. You were a teammate of Joe McKnight's with the Jets.
Love Joe McKnight, man. He was just a breath of fresh air. Always so fun to be around. Just so tragic to get the news several weeks back.
And the fair catch made to the 21. Now it's been a struggle for Lamar Jackson, but that LSU defense, perhaps the best the Cardinals have faced this season.
The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by Marathon, fueling the American spirit. And the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. What's in your wallet?
On Friday, both teams held pep rallies for their fans at iDrive 360, home of the Orlando Eye. As we welcome you back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Both head coaches talking. Ed Orgeron, I think, lost his voice coming out of the womb.
He's raspy, but man, when he's running around and screaming, he gets me fired up. I don't know about you.
That's a big reason why he got the head coaching job. His ability to motivate as they run Darius Geis here on first down. Geis getting the start because Leonard Fournette not playing in the game. Now, when the announcement was made by Fournette, and remember Christian McCaffrey sat out the Stanford game. Let's focus on Fournette for a second. Ed Orgeron told us the other day that it's only because of injury, that it's not related to the NFL draft. Now, you can interpret that how you want, but he said if he was healthy, he believed Fournette would play, but that he couldn't practice, couldn't play in the game.
And for that reason, I have absolutely no problem. McCaffrey as well dealt with some injuries this year. If you're not 100%, you can't help your team, you shouldn't be out there.
Here's Etling going downfield, and he throws it out of bounds, incomplete. Now, let me ask you this, though. If McCaffrey and Fournette were both healthy but decided to sit out, would you then have a problem with it?
I don't like that trend, but I understand it. Because right now, those guys have huge opportunities. We're talking about top 15 picks in the NFL draft. Millions upon millions of dollars that could be going into those guys' pockets. If they feel as though they're better off not participating with their team, it's a personal decision, then who am I to judge or question that decision? I don't like it. I think it's the greatest team sport in the world, but I certainly understand it.
If coaches are allowed to do it, players should be allowed to do it as well. Etling, somehow that pass isn't picked off by Alexander. Instead, it's caught by Dupree for a first down to the 37-yard line.
Beautiful throw by Danny Etling, and well covered by Jair Alexander. Tried to undercut the route. And that's about as good as you can throw and catch it, and also about as good as you can cover it.
Luke, I don't know if you differ with our conversation up here regarding guys sitting out, but again, go back to if coaches can take other jobs and leave the program, and players are going on to a brighter future as well, greener grass. So why shouldn't they be able to, if they so choose, not play? Guys straight ahead, bottled up after a short game of 1.
You know, the one area that I sometimes have a problem with is when we're equating a player who has yet to earn a college degree or go out into the professional world and earn a living and be accountable for themselves professionally with somebody who has. I don't think you can equate players and coaches because it's apples and oranges. It really is. I'm in agreement with Greg. If there's a lingering injury, an injury issue, I understand it. I get it. If you're not injured, I do have a problem with it. I don't like it. I think it takes away from the game, but I do also think it's a reflection a bit of the college football playoff a little as well.
Big hit on Geis in the backfield by Grenard. He'll lose it. But here's the thing. In the NFL, they'll say all the time, you play for yourself. You play for your family. So why in college football you're playing for your team? Why is it completely different in the college game? Aren't ultimately you playing for yourself? You're playing for your future?
You are to a certain extent, and like I said, if you're not injured, I don't have a problem with it. If you are injured, I don't have a problem with it. But if you aren't, I still believe the opportunity that you can gain in playing in a bowl game. I saw Dante Fowler have 3.5 sacks in a game that supposedly meant nothing, got drafted 3rd overall. So I think that you can still gain a lot from playing in a bowl game.
What a catch! Dupree with one hand snares it. What an impact he's had on the game, but then Dupree just got in the face of a Louisville player and got flagged for taunting. I believe anyway that's what the flag is for. I mean, Dupree made an incredible catch, but then he stood over the Louisville player and taunted him with a ball.
The result of the play is a first down. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 15, taunting. 15-yard penalty, first down and 10. This is number 15, first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
And if you get 2, you're ejected. I mean, again, incredible catch, but then selfishly afterwards, he stands over the defender.
Now, I have a problem with that. Malachi Dupree made an incredible catch, but he should expect to make that incredible catch. That's what he should do every single time. No need to taunt the defender.
Etling pumps, now takes off and runs past the 45. And out of bounds at the 40. Appears to have a first down.
Those are the plays, Greg, that just kill coaches because those are controllable errors. Those are emotional errors. And it's uncharacteristic of Malachi Dupree. That's not the type of guy he's been throughout his career. If you look at this last play from Danny Etling, that's how you want your quarterback to play the position, Greg. Nothing's there. You're in control. You have momentum. Take what the defense gives you and get yourself a fresh set of downs.
Played a really good game to this point so far, Danny Etling has.
Geis, and nowhere to go. In the backfield immediately was Chris Williams at LSU defensive line. Or excuse me, Louisville defensive line, able to push back LSU's O-line, so a negative play on first down.
I want to get back to Danny Etling. A lot of people, Tom, feel as though he's auditioning for the job today. Right. I, for one, think it's going to be a clean sheet when new offensive coordinator Matt Canada gets to town. But he's doing a nice job staying within himself today.
Now Brandon Harris is back, the guy who started early in the year. They have a couple freshmen that are on the roster, a couple of guys committed. Tom saw it Under Armour practices this week here in Orlando. 2nd and 11, Etling eluding pressure and throws it out of bounds. He's a better athlete than I think people realize. We saw him run for a first down earlier and has done a good job getting away from pressure so far in this game.
Greg, the whole future of this offense is going to be about avoiding trying to stick a square peg into a round hole. One of the things about incoming offensive coordinator Matt Canada that stood out to me and stood out to Coach Orgeron, as he acknowledged, was his ability to adapt and adjust and create. This is a guy that coached Jordan Lynch at Northern Illinois, a pure dual threat, and then had Nate Peterman at Pitt. So he can do it with both types, add some creativity to a wide open quarterback competition.
Pressure from Louisville. Etling throwing deep, underthrown. It's caught anyway. The helmet comes off of DJ Chark as he makes the catch. There was interference on the play as well. And a couple of just incredible catches by LSU wideouts on this drive. He's going to have to go out, though, for a play because he lost his helmet.
What a great catch.
And he had a safety, Zykesis Cannon, covering him because of all the injuries.
Defense, that penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down. Number 82 of the offense, his helmet came off. He has to stay out of the game for one play.
Just incredible concentration to see it all the way through, getting interfered with, focusing on the football. For as good as Malachi Dupree and Traven Durrell have been, DJ Chark, I think, has been their most complete, consistent receiver this year.
The pitch to Geis, and a beautiful tackle in the open field there by Kelsey. When he cut that back, it looked like he was going to score. It was him and Kelsey manning between touchdown.
Greg, I'm down here on the field, and I'm looking up at the angle that Chark, you talk about looking into the sun. That ball came directly from the sun.
Could you have caught it, Tom?
Absolutely.
I would guess not.
Geis again on second down, comes up short of the goal line. It's a huge third down here. D'Angelo Brown on the tackle.
This is where those short, squatty bodies for Louisville, Greg, have an advantage. When you're 6'3", 310, and you're 6'2", 290, you can get under the pad level for these LSU offensive linemen.
Matchup to watch right here is number 97, D'Angelo Brown. He's listed at 6 foot, but he's probably 5'10", plays with great leverage, especially in goal line situations.
Play action. Etling dumping it off to Geis. He's in. Touchdown. Well designed as they shifted J.D. Moore out of the backfield. The half roll and the dump off to the back for the score.
Great play call by Steve Ensminger. Having a hard time getting push in the middle. They opt to get out on the perimeter. That's twice now. They've thrown touchdown passes from the 1 yard line. Outstanding job changing what they've done in the regular season, recognizing tendencies and breaking those tendencies today against a very capable Louisville defense.
Delahousse on for the point after. And he just gets it through. Already missed a field goal in this game. It's 14-3 LSU. Darius Geis first receiving touchdown this season, 15th overall. Set up by some incredible grabs. First, this terrific one-hander by Dupree, and then Chark on the underthrow. Geis with a touchdown catch. LSU in command. Three more bowl games Monday on ESPN, starting with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, then the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. USC Penn State. All-State Sugar Bowl closes us out with Auburn and Oklahoma. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, and Tom Luginbill in Orlando, where LSU, thanks to big plays through the air, a 14-3 lead. Danny Etling with just one incompletion on that last drive, and that was on a pass where he just threw it away because everybody was covered. See if Lamar Jackson has an answer. It's been a struggle so far. One completion, and that was a 53-yard strike. Plus, he only has 7 carries, -3 yards. A big sack didn't help, though. Liner taken by Travion Samuel, and he can't make it to the 25.
LSU's defense has found a matchup that they like along the offensive line. Number 56, the right guard, Keola Mahoney. He has struggled multiple times today when it comes to protection. Not only did he miss the route a second ago, he also gets beat one-on-one and allows Jackson to get hit as he's attempting a throw to his left. Now, Mahoney didn't start the last game of the regular season. Let's see if Louisville makes some moves up front with their offensive line personnel.
Jackson in trouble again, just had no shot. as Tashawn Bauer was in the backfield right now.
I mean, just absolutely no chance. Absolute miss up front by number 72, Lucaeus McNeil. Doesn't matter how good you are at quarterback. Lamar Jackson is absolutely incredible. The most important position on the team for the offense is the offensive line, and they have not played well to this point.
Here's Radcliffe finding some running room off the left side to get a chunk of it back. Ran into Donnie Alexander. LSU is playing without its leading tackler today. Kendall Beckwith out with a knee injury.
Greg, I'm a little surprised that Bobby Petrino hasn't chosen to do some more RPO, more zone read, option principle, where instead of trying to block somebody that you're not capable of blocking, you actually option that player, put them in a conflict of assignment, and keep that ball in the hands of Lamar Jackson.
He needs to get on the perimeter, too, because in the pocket, he has not had much of an opportunity today.
And they run it here on 3rd down and 8, and knocked down in the backfield is Radcliffe. Dwayne Thomas makes the play, and so Louisville is going to have to punt the ball.
Thomas with a great job just running around the right-hand side. There's absolutely nothing you can do if you're Radcliffe. Just get beat at the point of attack. Now, I know it's a long time for the wide receiver to hold a block trying to get out there, but he's got to understand and attack leverage at the defender, because Radcliffe was working to the outside. He attacked the inside shoulder, which allowed the defender to shed and make a tackle for a loss to force yet another punt from this Louisville team.
Here's White backing up to his 27. He jumps over a Louisville player and is to the 44-yard line. So good starting field position for LSU. Already leading 14-3 with all of its timeouts inside 5 minutes to go in the first half. The college football playoff semifinals are here. Washington and Alabama in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at 3 Eastern over on ESPN. Then at 7, Ohio State, Clemson, and the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Both games streaming live in the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Now the Louisville offense just 62 yards and 3 points against this outstanding LSU defense. And now the Tigers, who've been pretty good on offense, take over with very good field position. And it's a play action pass. Etling looking to go downtown. And there's some miscommunication there. Incompletion. Well, LSU dealt with a lot this year. The flood in August. The Florida game, which postponed and rescheduled to be played in Baton Rouge. And then, of course, all that went on with the coaching staff. And Ed Orgeron getting the head job. And you were saying yesterday you felt that this game was as important for him as any head coach in a bowl game this postseason.
Absolutely. Obviously had the interim tag removed at the end of November. But now moving forward, a lot of questions might be raised if they were obviously to come up short today, losing 2 of their last 3. He's off to a good start so far. His team is motivated and ready to play.
Geis with great effort again, keeps the feet moving and gets to the 49-yard line.
Tell you what stands out to me about the job that they have done. Keep in mind, you're juggling a lot of balls in the air at one time. If you're Ed Orgeron, you're trying to finalize your staff, knowing full well you're not going to have them to recruit. You're not going to have them to instruct on the field. You're trying to recruit. You're also trying to lay down your blueprint, get your team healthy. They only practiced 12 out of the allowable 15 days. They went a lot lighter than they have in years past. Ed Orgeron felt like they had lost games on a Tuesday and a Wednesday before. He wasn't going to allow that to happen with this team in a bowl game.
3rd down and 4. Etling in the pocket, throws wide of the intended target, Traven Durrell. That's a big stop for Louisville's defense.
One of the few times they've been able to apply some pressure on Danny Etling. He's had all day, hit a couple receivers downfield. Finally, Todd Grantham's defense styles up a pressure, and they get home, forcing an inaccurate pass. One of the few we've seen from Danny Etling so far.
And because of some injuries, Louisville without 5 key defensive players in this game. Snap was a little bit high, but the punt is away. And this will work out okay for Louisville starting around its 21. Let's take a look at today's PlayStation View Player Spotlight and the accomplishments of Lamar Jackson. Of course, won the Heisman Trophy at age 19. Won several other Player of the Year awards. He's the third ever to throw for 30 touchdowns and run for 20. Cam Newton and Tim Tebow, the other players. But it's been a struggle today. Just one completion.
He's truly amazing. The scariest part is that I think there's still so much more he can develop this offseason to become a more complete player.
Jackson keeps it here and throws underneath, complete to the 28-yard line to James Quick.
As an athlete, Lamar Jackson is unrivaled in college football. Can create so much, buy so much time by extending plays in the pocket and being instinctive. But if he can develop a little more consistency in the passing game, he could be among the greatest college football players we've ever seen.
Jackson to run here, and boy, look at the speed of Jamal Adams. Adams perhaps playing his final college game. He's a junior, might turn pro, and check this out. Chasing down one of the fastest guys in the sport.
Absolutely incredible. Look how much range Jamal Adams has on this play. Starts on the far right, diagnoses what the offensive snap is going to be, and beats Lamar Jackson to the point. He hasn't had as good a year, Jamal Adams, as he was last year. Been a little inconsistent, but right there shows you what he's capable of.
Jackson to throw on third down and another sack. True freshman Rashard Lawrence for the Tigers. It's another Louisville punt.
He just has no chance. Even a new right guard for Louisville gets beat around the edge, and Lamar Jackson is dropped once again.
Yeah, they flipped the two guards there, put Mahoney on the left side, Hunter on the right side. And so a timeout is called here.
This is looking reminiscent a little bit of that Houston game. That was such a struggle for Louisville offensively there at the end of November.
Well, Bobby Petrino is one of the most respected offensive minds in college football. What's the adjustment when you're playing against LSU players that, I mean, you guys talked earlier about maybe some perimeter runs. We saw one there, and Jamal Adams comes from the other side of the field to make the play.
You have to somehow figure out a way to get Lamar Jackson going in the passing game. The run game has not been working to this point. So therefore you must go to the pass, and to this point they've only attempted 6 throws, and we're almost through the first half. One thing about this Louisville offense, though, very streaky. They can get going in a heartbeat. If you don't believe me, just look back and see what happened when they played against Wake Forest. 34 points in the fourth quarter alone.
All right, let's go to the studio, check in with Cassidy.
Thanks, Dave. Georgia Tech looking to build on their 10-3 lead over Kentucky. Justin Thomas here on the keeper, capping off an 11-play, 94-yard drive, diving for the pylon for the 21-yard touchdown. Yellow Jackets up 17-3 over on ESPN. Dave, Greg, back to you.
All right, Cassidy, here it's 14-3 LSU. 2 timeouts left for the Tigers. 2:49 to go here in the half. They have 219 yards total offense, 43 on the ground to just 1 rushing yard for Louisville.
It's been the passing game for LSU that's been so dynamic so far.
Etling. Dupree is open to the 50-yard line. So a pickup of 13-yard line. That was a pretty easy pitch and catch.
Louisville is doing everything they possibly can to stop the run. So many defenders are close to the line of scrimmage. Therefore, LSU is opting to keep it on the perimeter with some of their passing game, and to this point Louisville hasn't had much of an answer.
Well, Dupree's got 136 yards in the first half. That is a career high for a game. Another pass play here for Etling, and he's going for Dupree down the sideline, incomplete. Jair Alexander, second team all ACC corner. 2nd and 10 for LSU.
Tell you guys, you got to be pretty pleased if you're Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator right now, with how these corners that are so inexperienced are playing. Now, they've given up some underneath stuff, but vertically, they just haven't been run past or allowed LSU to take the top off the defense. I think that was a huge concern for Bobby Petrino coming in, is how do we match up with inexperience on the perimeter? They've got to be pretty pleased to this point.
To the air again, Etling. It's a screen to Geis and an excellent play. Geis slammed down by D'Angelo Brown at the 48-yard line.
I love D'Angelo Brown. He plays so hard. And he does a great job of diagnosing. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he does a really good job of playing his assignment. Doesn't get too aggressive, but he's strong against the run. And even when there are some aspects like the screen game there, he's been very reliable over the course of the season.
You said not the biggest guy. You mean vertically, not horizontally,
yeah.
right?
He's about 5'11", listed at 6 foot, but about 5'11", 310.
3rd and 12. Etling chased out of the pocket and throws it away. Louisville has all its timeouts, has the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and we'll get the football here after a punt. Pressure that time by Devontae Fields.
Louisville is going to get the ball back. Likely with not great field position, but all 3 timeouts. This could be a huge momentum swing if they can get some points heading into halftime.
We have not called Cole Hicatini's name at all. 49 catches, 8 touchdowns on the year for Louisville. Don't even know if he's had a target in this game. Another short punt, an immediate penalty flag as well, and the ball will be placed at about the 18-yard line here for Louisville. Louisville trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak, which has happened only once under Bobby Petrino at Louisville. That was the start of last year. They started 0-3, finished strong though, won the Music City Bowl, beating Texas A&M.
During the kick, holding, kicking team, 10-yard penalty. It'll be Louisville's ball, 1st down and 10.
And that doesn't hurt. That really hurts, I should say, for Louisville. The Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup is here in Orlando. Will be awarded to the conference that has the highest winning percentage in the postseason. Take a look at the current Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup standings. The ACC 6-2. And Georgia Tech leading Kentucky, as Cassidy Hubbard told you, 17-3.
How about the ACC? So many good quarterbacks, so many good coaches. A league that wasn't exactly known for its football a few years ago has turned in to an outstanding conference, and they're obviously proving how good they are this bowl season.
Look at top to bottom, Greg, just how the quarterback position itself, just the quarterback position, has changed the perception of the entire conference, and that's a good thing for college football. And if you're an SEC fan, you got to be concerned about the ACC getting stronger and bigger and adding more competition and recruiting.
Lamar Jackson on 1st down, throwing from his end zone, and boy, Godchow almost picked that off. Wow. They were trying to set up a screen there to a wide receiver. Godchow stepped in front. And just to finish up, guys, on your points on the ACC quarterbacks, you get Deshaun Watson, of course, playing later today on ESPN in one of the college football playoff semifinals. And Watson is the ACC record holder for total offense. Lamar Jackson trying to challenge that. But Jackson has a long way to go in this game. He needed 282 yards of total offense coming in. And right now he's at about 40. Here he is on 2nd down. Off target again. Incomplete, trying for Jamari Staples. Stan Verrett, Mark May, Mac Brown standing by from Atlanta with the Buick halftime report. Get you ready for the semifinal games that will air on ESPN.
Hey, Greg, as this Louisville offense goes into the locker room, they are going to have to come up with some answers that, in my opinion, include Lamar Jackson being utilized in the passing game, but not from the pocket. Move the launch point so he can still be that run-pass threat.
Jackson, oh boy, safety, drilled in the end zone by Arden Key. Again, the quarterback had 0 shot. 2 points for the Tigers.
When it rains, it pours for the Louisville Cardinals. This time, just an unblocked rusher. See number 4, Duke Riley running inside. Lamar Jackson recognizes it, try to escape to the edge, where Arden Key is patiently waiting.
And if he didn't get him, Duke Riley would have. 5th sack, 7 tackle for a loss for LSU's defense in 23 snaps for the Cardinals on offense. So basically, 1 out of every 5 plays, Jackson is getting sacked. And now they got to kick it from their 20-yard line to Louisville, or to LSU rather, after the safety, and the Tigers have 2 timeouts.
And Lamar Jackson, too, has to recognize that when your protection is overloaded, you have to get rid of the ball. You can't always win with your legs. That time perfectly contained by Arden Key and Duke Riley running free on the inside. He's got to find a quick completion, which I know has been a point of emphasis over the last several weeks. Tom, he can't just try to outrun everybody, because so far LSU has had an answer for it.
Well, the team speed sideline to sideline is something that Louisville hasn't faced. And I'll say this, guys, you could make an argument that maybe one of the best total football players on the field defensively for LSU, Kendall Beckwith, he's absent and you haven't even noticed.
Boy, I'm surprised Geis let that go instead of going and fielding it immediately. That's a mistake. He's past the 20-yard line of the 22, but he cost him about 15 yards there on that free kick.
It will be interesting to see what Ed Orgeron opts to do here. 1 minute left, have all the momentum, not very good field position. Do you just run it, take it to half, or do you get the passing game going again?
I'd throw it down the field. They've had success, at least underneath, getting chunk plays.
I think I'd run it the first snap or the second snap. And if one of those pops free and I get a free first down, then I might take a chance with a little better field position, because Louisville still has all 3 timeouts. So I think Ed Orgeron needs to opt to run it here and carry that momentum into the half.
First down from their 23-yard line. Etling will throw it here. And he just throws it up for grabs, and it's picked off at the 32-yard line. What a mistake. Cannon with the interception. I don't know that Etling saw him. And a big opportunity now for Louisville.
He's getting the evil eye right now from Ed Orgeron, too. He just didn't have enough arm, Greg. He didn't have enough strength to get the ball out of bounds. He's trying to do the right thing.
Obvious toe drag. That interception's going to stand, no doubt about it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You have all the momentum going into the half. Why take a chance? Run the football, carry that momentum into the second half, and now Louisville's got new life.
Jackson's pass, though, way off the mark. It's almost like he's expecting to get hit as soon as he drops back. I mean, he threw that thing 5 yards over the head of Bonifon. I know, as you pointed out, he hasn't been the most accurate guy in the pocket, but you wonder if the pressure and all the sacks the last few games starting to bother him.
Oh, it can definitely affect you, no doubt. As a passer, if you know you don't have a lot of time, you'll often try to throw it before you're ready to, which creates inaccurate passes.
Jackson on second down, going to the end zone. Again, overthrew his receiver. Who is open? Staples going against All-American Tre'Davious White.
Pretty good looking throw. Pretty good looking throw right there from Lamar Jackson. Had a guy, obviously missed it, but that was much more dialed in down the field than we've seen so far to this point. His feet look set. He just threw it a little bit too high, but that's a difficult throw to make, especially when you're 2 for 10 in the game.
Jackson on third down. Escapes one Tiger. Now darts forward. And finally brought down at the 30-yard line. Now, their field goal kicker, Blanton Creaky, has only attempted 2 kicks over 40. This would be a 47-yarder. So I think the offense is going to stay on the field here for 4th down and about 5. Or maybe they're just going to let the clock wind down, take the timeout, and at least try the long field goal. Creaky's long this season is 39 yards.
It looks like that's what they're going to do. Creaky is standing there on the sideline, and looks like he's going to have a shot at the buzzer to make this a 10-point game.
You questioned LSU's decision to throw the ball. What did you think of what Bobby Petrino did after the turnover, throwing it in all 3 downs there?
I didn't have a problem with that at all. You have to get the passing game going because the running game just hasn't been there to this point. Now, a lot of that is due to sacks and poor protection up front. But now you're down by 13. You have to get this offense into a rhythm, and Lamar Jackson just hasn't really found his mark. A couple of completions at the end of the half could have you feeling a lot better as a quarterback as you head to the midway point.
Now, this could be a killer right here, though, if they don't get any points after that gift that they got from Etling. It'll be about a 47-yard attempt. And again, Blanton Creaky's only attempted 2 longer than 40, missed them both. He did make a 24-yarder earlier in the game. .47-yard attempt officially for Creaky. And he nails it. Longest field goal of his career. After Etling's interception, the Cardinals, despite really being dominated in this game, only down 10 at halftime.
It's a great kick by Creaky. That would have been good from a long way back. A lot of adrenaline running through that man's veins.
Let's go down to Tom.
Coach, obviously not the result you wanted right there from Danny Etling, but assess the offense's performance up to that point.
You know, we're able to throw the ball. We need to do a better job of blocking for our run game. Need to open up our run game a little bit.
You've exploited their guard-to-guard group with your defensive front. They've kept Lamar Jackson in the pocket for the most part. What adjustments are you expecting them to make coming out in the 3rd quarter?
We're going to try to throw the ball deep. We got to eliminate the big play, keep on playing the defense we're playing, and run the ball on offense.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Tigers.
That's how he ends every interview. LSU leads 16-6 over Louisville at halftime. Back to Atlanta for the Buick halftime report after these messages.
Welcome back to Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl here in Orlando, Camping World Stadium. LSU in front of Louisville 16-6 at halftime. A safety for the Tigers at the end of the first half, then an interception by LSU, which Louisville turns into 3 points. And Louisville, Greg, came into this game with the #1 offense in college football, put up more than 60 against Florida State earlier this season. We knew LSU's defense was really good. We saw them a couple times this year, but much better than we had seen in the games we had. I mean, Lamar Jackson could do nothing that first half.
You said they're really good. They're absolutely incredible. That first half performance by LSU's defense was as good as I've seen in college football this year. As far as applying pressure and putting stress on protection, Lamar Jackson had absolutely no time whatsoever. And then they would find an open gap and they would blitz and they would attack, not allowing Lamar Jackson any time to get loose and create. Look at the numbers, just 2 for 10, all those negative yards when it comes to the rushing category. How about this stat? Louisville ran 26 offensive snaps in the first half. 15 went for negative or 0 yards. Truly remarkable performance from the Tigers in the first half.
5 sacks, 7 tackles for a loss for LSU's defense. Now we'll see what kind of adjustments Louisville made offensively, and if they'll have an impact on the game. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. And Alexander didn't realize, or Samuel rather, that he was not in the end zone. And boy, did he pay for it. He gets drilled at the 13-yard line by Devin White. No idea where he was on the field. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Big plays for LSU through the air. Malachi Dupree with a couple of big catches, including this one-handed grab, and then Chark sets up a touchdown with that basket catch, and then the safety near the end of the first half for Arden Key. What a mistake by Louisville, as Travion Samuel had no idea where he was on the field, and so Louisville has to start back near its 13-yard line. Jackson hit again, walloped by Arden Key inside the 10. Let's check in with Tom Luganville down on the field.
Well, unfortunately, the play that you just saw was a result of trying to get away from the pressure, moving the launch point. We talked about this in the first half. Optioning the players and choosing not to block the guys that you can't block, put them in a conflict of assignment. They try and do that, Greg, and move the launch point here, and they still don't make the block against the most dangerous pass rusher on the field in Arden Key.
I don't like the assignment, though. You had Radcliffe, the running back,
not good,
blocking Arden Key, and Arden Key's going to win that battle every time.
So they just run the ball here, and Smith planted after a gain of 1. He got up and ran, but actually dropped the ball, but ruled down. So 3rd and long here for Louisville.
LSU has been so good when it comes to applying pressure. A couple guys down on the ground for Louisville.
That's Smith and then the guard Mahoney.
It's just impossible to get into a rhythm as a quarterback when you're constantly running for your life, when you're getting hit, when you don't have anyone open downfield. Lamar Jackson needs to find some rhythm right now. It's going to be very difficult to do on 3rd down, where they're 0 for 8 so far today.
All it takes, though, is one big play. They're only down 10 points in the game. Jackson to his left, and he's going to keep it here. Get past the 20 and close to the 1st down. They spot him right at the line to gain, and Godchaux lost his helmet. Well, he's a great equalizer with his legs, and on 3rd and 16, you think you got him stopped because everybody's covered down the field. He takes off, really the first big play we've seen from Jackson all day. It's good for a 1st down.
And that was really well defended. That's the difficult thing about playing Lamar Jackson. Even when you execute perfectly defensively in the secondary and up front, he can escape and pick up a lot of yards with his legs.
And you said most dynamic player you've seen in college football since Michael Vick, right?
I believe it.
And you think of all the great athletes we've seen at quarterback since Vick.
Not as physically imposing as Cam Newton. Cam Newton was the best college football player I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes.
The previous play resulted in a 1st down. This play is now under replay review. This was a replay booth initiated stoppage.
To determine whether he got the 1st down. Ruling in the field as he did.
Got over the top.
Looks like he's short there, though, doesn't it?
Looks like he's on the body. You can see the left elbow hitting the ground right before the 23-yard line. Now remember, you have to have indisputable video evidence to overturn. Based on the other angle, I'm feeling as though
I think he's short based on what we saw. I mean, it looks pretty clear to us, but again,
here's a good angle at it. Look at that left elbow as it's coming down to the ground. Where's the nose of the football when that elbow makes contact with the grass? Looks to me like he's just about 6 inches short.
But you and I have had several games where we thought it was clear video evidence, and then the ruling of the field stood because they felt that there was doubt. If there's any doubt, you can't overturn the ruling in the field, but I don't see a reason to doubt that he's short here.
After review, the runner was short of the 1st down. It'll be 4th down and half a yard at the 22.5-yard line.
But if nothing else, okay, you didn't get the 1st down, but at least you help yourself in terms of field position. They've been playing inside their 15-yard line for the entire game. And maybe now you give a little confidence to your offense that you came close to picking that up. Even though Jackson's disappointed, they got a punt.
It was still not a productive drive. First drive of the second half is such a tone setter. And to have some of the same issues you dealt with in the first half, getting a sack on first down, to have those same things creep up in the second half has got to be a little troubling for Bobby Petrino.
So Mason King to punt here at 4th and 1. Tre'Davious White is deep. White has a punt return for a touchdown this season, 3 for his career. White immediately signaling for the fair catch, and he's got it at the 31-yard line. So we'll see LSU's offense for the first time in the second half when we come back. The Tigers, behind great defense, leading Louisville by 10. The penultimate games of the college football season are coming up. The semifinals, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Nick Saban in Alabama up next against Washington on ESPN. All right, Greg, obviously you played for Nick Saban. What is he like on a championship game day?
Believe it or not, he's exactly like he would be on a Saturday afternoon if you're playing Western Kentucky. He's the same guy every single game. And I think that's why his program has been so remarkably consistent over the last decade. His consistency within his personality.
The defending national champs beat Clemson in the title game a year ago. Here's Geis on first down. They grab him at the ankles, but he keeps the feet moving, and he's to the 35-yard line. Geis, 47 yards on 17 carries. The 5th game that Leonard Fournette has missed this year because of injury. There was the announcement by Fournette that he would not play in the bowl game, and then Ed Orgeron, the head coach, came out and said it's strictly because of injury. If he were healthy, he thinks that Fournette would have played, but that he couldn't practice, therefore he could not play.
Darius Geis is about as capable replacement as you could find in college football. Just incredible.
1,300 yards in the season for Geis. Here's Etling throwing. It's tipped in the air. Incomplete. And remember, that last pass before halftime was an interception. Dejan Richardson bats the ball down for Louisville, and so it's 3rd and 6.
Good job defensively by number 90, Dejan Richardson. Recognizing the short drop, getting his hands up because he knew he wasn't going to get back there and make a sack, and tipping the ball up in the air. Big play from the defensive lineman.
But again, they're missing 5 guys today because of injury, including 2 corners. Can they stop LSU here in 3rd and 6 and get the ball back in the hands of Lamar Jackson? Penalty marker down. They may not have gotten the play off in time.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So now it's 3rd down and 11.
That's a big penalty. Difficulty getting lined up. Clearly, that play clock is at 0 as Danny Etling was asking for the snap. Now you go from 3rd and 6, which is somewhat manageable, to a very difficult 3rd and 11 for Danny Etling.
And the play clock is moving again here. And the center judge is holding them up. Now they reset the play clock. 3rd and 11 for LSU. LSU brings pressure. Etling gets hit as he throws, incomplete. So the Cardinals got to Etling. It was D. Smith.
Really nice diagram by defensive coordinator Todd Grantham. Understanding that you are putting stress on the protection by bringing 2 blitzers outside the right tackle. Danny Etling knew that he had to get rid of the ball quickly. He did so. However, it was not in time to find an open LSU Tiger.
Good punt, backing up and over the head of Alexander, but he made the fair catch signal. It'll be Louisville ball at the 18-yard line when we come back. Well, as you know, Greg McElroy played for Nick Saban. His final game for Nick Saban was here in the Capital One Bowl, where he was setting blocks and destroying people down the field. Although your chin strap ended up in your nostrils after that.
I'm not going to say that felt good. I will say that it was somewhat effective. I got to give credit to Julio, though. He set up the block. I'm not exactly the best blocker in the world, evidenced by the vertical that I was showing right there as I was running and jumping off the field.
Don't act like that didn't feel good. You know that felt good.
It did feel good. It's better applying the hit than it would be actually taking the hit. So I must say that is accurate, Tom.
The frolic was especially good looking.
Who's Julio? I just know McElroy was the key guy on that team. Oh, Julio Jones. Gotcha. Okay. Lamar Jackson trying to get outside, gets about 6 yards to the 24. Look, the people here, we've been here since Tuesday. We did Miami, West Virginia with Florida Citrus Sports. They've been great hosts. And I know you feel, obviously, you played in a national title game, but this is one of your favorite venues.
I think this is one of the premier bowl venues in college football. Being in Orlando, obviously, having Disney World, having Universal, having so many great experiences here. I was so thrilled to have spent my final collegiate game on this field playing against Michigan State.
Jackson gets the first down past the 30 to the 32-yard line. So maybe that offense starting to make some things happen now. At least Jackson in the run game the last 2 times he's touched it.
Here we go, Greg. This is what they need to do. Option, pull it, zone read, get Lamar Jackson on the perimeter.
First down on the 32-yard line, and Jackson again able to slip a tackle up to the 39-yard line. So that's a 7-yard pickup for Lamar Jackson. Over 1,500 rushing yards this season. That's 8th in the country for any player at any position.
It's amazing. Even when you cover the run game perfectly, you could have guys in position, you could have gaps accounted for. He'll still figure out a way to make positive yardage. He's been so much fun to watch this year.
He'll throw here on 2nd down and 3. Pumps in trouble again and is sacked again. 7th sack for LSU. Godchow got him.
And this one's on Lamar Jackson. You have to at some point. I know LSU only rushed 3 defenders right there. Nothing was there early on, and credit to the LSU secondary. But Lamar Jackson's got to have that time clock going off in his head and understand when nothing's there, I can still use my legs and escape north and south.
On 3rd and 5, they'll take a shot here down the field. It's broken up by White, incomplete. It was intended for Jalen Smith. And that's 4th down.
Tremendous play by Tre'Davious White. Little underthrown, but look at the way he high points that football. Goes up with the right hand, knocks it away. You would say that's an exceptional play from a corner, but we see that play from Tre'Davious White every single week. Such a competitor, so long and so difficult to complete balls against.
They've had so many great defensive backs at LSU, and White expected to have a terrific NFL career. He can return punts. He's got 3 career touchdowns. Looking for running room here, and instead he's nailed at the 18-yard line. The ball may have come out. Some extracurricular activity. No flag yet. And it appears that White hung on to the football. The officials separate the 2 teams. 9:33 to go in the 3rd. LSU will have possession, leading 16-6 over Louisville.
The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase everywhere. And Lexus, who wishes you happy holidays.
Players and coaches from Louisville and LSU interacting with youth from across Central Florida on Thursday. Maybe the next Tom Luginbill right there. Interviewing Lamar Jackson.
I love it. Louisville has a bunch of players on their roster from the state of Florida, as does LSU. So I know a lot of guys are happy to be coming home. And playing in front of a great crowd here at Camping World Stadium.
By the way, Tre'Davious White was shaken up on that punt return. Did need some help getting to the sideline. We'll see if he's back in on defense. Here's Darius Geis off the left edge, past the 25, and dragged down at the 30-yard line, but after he gets the first down.
Good run and well blocked up front. Couple pullers there for LSU getting out in front of Darius Geis, who's been bottled up for the most part today. For that run, was averaging less than 3 yards a carry. But of course, with the lead, they're going to lean on their run game, which for the most part has been slowed down pretty well by this Louisville defense.
72 rushing yards for Geis on the day. Got a couple games with over 250 this year. Here he is again, breaking free. Geis past midfield. Geis inside the 20. They won't catch him. Touchdown, LSU. A 70-yard rushing touchdown for Darius Geis. Penalty flag in the end zone, probably for the celebration. Geis with his second touchdown today. 16th on the season. He had a receiving score in the first half.
Like they're going to get him for an unsportsmanlike based on what the official's doing right now.
The play resulted in a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, LSU. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
I really hope at some point they just stop penalizing kids for being kids. Let them celebrate. What's the big deal?
They're having fun.
There's a difference between taunting and celebrating.
Exactly. He's celebrating with his team. If he takes it a little too far, who cares? Let him enjoy the experience of playing college football.
Delahousse puts it through. 23-6 LSU.
Louisville had bottled up the run pretty good to this point. Darius Geis says it only takes one time. Breaks it up the middle, up to the outside, and he goes the distance. Big play for LSU.
Western Michigan looks to keep it going, tries to knock off Wisconsin on Monday in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Then it's the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual, followed by the All-State Sugar Bowl. All three games streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. We just watched Darius Geis go for 70 and now has a $133 on the day. Because of the penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, LSU will kick off from its 20-yard line. Jack Gonsolin changed his number to number 14, kicking off. And Samuel tried to let it go out of bounds. It didn't. That's a live ball. Scoops it up on his 10 and steps out of bounds. Man, everything going wrong for the Cardinals today.
Let's take a look at that touchdown run a second ago. I want you to watch this matchup right here and the puller coming around the edge. Incredible job by the right tackle, Toby Weathersby. Look at that movement. Look at how big that hole is for Darius Geis to run through, and he does the rest. Just unbelievable job by the right tackle, Weathersby, and the puller, number 64, Will Clapp. I love it when I can give some offensive linemen some love.
Well, you said it from the first moment that you saw Geis this year as Radcliffe is tackled by Riley at the line of scrimmage, that you thought he was as good as Leonard Fournette. And well, the numbers certainly back it up.
I really believe it. I think he is so versatile. He's so mature physically, and he runs angry. He has something to prove. He's played second fiddle the last couple years, but it's going to be his show in 2017. I really believe he's going to be a Heisman contender.
Here's Jackson looking for somebody, gets out of there. And does a great job to get 5 yards past the 16-yard line. At some point, they got to convert on third down, though. Louisville is 0 for 10 on third downs in this game.
Not only they cannot convert third down, they can't get past their own 20. That's really been their biggest issue for much of the second quarter here in the early third is getting out from your own back end.
2 of 11 passing. He's a Heisman winner. 2 of 11.
We haven't seen any screen game. We haven't seen any draws. We just haven't had any rhythm offensively.
And now you get a drop, which would have been a first down. That might have been the first time Cole Hicatini was even targeted in this game. And he puts it on the ground when his team needed him to make a first down catch.
Just can't really explain what happened there. The ball hit him right in the stomach. Cole Hicatini, he's a senior. He's been very sure-handed this season. Had a couple drops along the way, but he's one of the better tight ends in college football. You got to make that play when your offense is struggling the way Louisville has been over the last 2.5 quarters.
Tre'Davious White, okay. He stays in the game here to return this punt. He got drilled on the last one. Signals for the fair catch here around the 40-yard line. So Louisville came into this game the #1 scoring offense at 45 points per game, #2 in total offense, and they have just 88 yards, 6 points. Now LSU deserves a lot of credit. Excellent defensively. And Lamar Jackson has accounted for 64 yards of total offense in this game.
I would actually say Houston's performance defensively was outstanding against Louisville. They were very dialed in. Sacked Lamar Jackson 11 times. This performance is as good as I've seen in college football so far to this point this year. Unbelievable by LSU defensively.
Here's J.D. Moore, the fullback, making the catch. There's a penalty flag thrown in the backfield for roughing the quarterback, so this will add on yardage here for LSU.
Foul, roughing the passer, defense number 55. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Not sure why Keith Kelsey took 4 steps. We're going to go back to LSU's defense. How about Dave Aranda and a guy that was at Utah State with Gary Anderson. Anderson goes to Wisconsin. Aranda comes with him, and he starts to get notoriety. Now he's at LSU, and he's got an extension making $2 million almost a year.
Yeah, and he deserves it. I mean, I think he's worth every penny. What he's done with this collective group of talent this year has been truly exceptional.
Here's Williams to the 40. You know, the other thing that's interesting about Aranda and the connection with the new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. Canada left Wisconsin when Aranda was coming in, and Aranda bought his house.
I was unaware of that.
Aranda did sell it.
One of the things, too, Dave and Greg, that's made Dave Aranda, I think, really, really good is not trying to do too much, recognizing that for the first time in his career, he's got players unlike any other place he's ever been at, so you just coach the defense and don't overcomplicate.
Here's Darrell Williams, brought down at the 38-yard line.
I'm with you, Tom. The biggest thing that slows down your play on the defensive side of the football is when you're thinking.
Right.
Play fast is what coaches always say. Play fast. Play within the scheme, but play as fast as you can.
And if you look at LSU, they're not exotic. They're not going to sugar up there in the gaps and show you all. They're going to line up. You're going to know where they're going to be. The question is, are you better athlete per athlete than they are? And in many instances, that's not the case.
See what Louisville's defense has here. On 3rd and 5, Etling, and it's a first down grab for Chark. Take away that interception, the mistake by Etling at the end of the first half, and played very well. The quarterback for LSU in this game.
He's been solid, and obviously he wants to have that one back at the end of the half, but he hasn't tried to do too much. He's thrown balls away when he's gotten a little pressure, and he's used his legs a couple times when he's gotten under duress and outside on the perimeter.
Here's Darius Geis. And Louisville's got him in the backfield, takes him down for a 2-yard setback. And keep Kelsey in there, second-team All-ACC linebacker.
Same play that Darius Geis scored on a second ago. It appears as though Louisville and their defensive coordinator Todd Grantham had an answer for it there, putting LSU behind the chains. One of the few times we've seen LSU in a tough spot so far offensively today.
Here's Geis again on second down and spun forward to the 24-yard line, brought down by Cannon. So third down coming up here for LSU against the depleted Louisville defense with all those injuries.
I think this is a gotta-have-it situation if you're Louisville. You have to get a stop right here and force LSU to kick a field goal, because right now your offense has not been able to generate much all day long. And if LSU keeps the drive alive with under 20 minutes remaining in the game action, it's going to be very difficult to mount a comeback.
LSU is 6 of 12 on third down. They'll keep it on the ground here, and Geis is tackled at the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit by Chris Williams to make the play. Let's see if Louisville, or LSU rather, tries a field goal here. It goes for it on fourth down. They are going to try a field goal. Delahousse missed one from 39 yards on the first possession. It'll be about a 42-yarder.
Your defense is playing this well. You can afford to be very conservative offensively. That time, Steve Ensminger, the offensive coordinator, opting just to run it and center it up for his field goal kicker, Delahousse.
From 42 yards, and he splits the uprights to make it 26-6. LSU. Well, this college football bowl season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. You can bet every single person on our crew will have the app going here, making our way to the airport or wherever we're headed to start the college football playoff semifinals over on ESPN at 3 Eastern.
Hey, guys, just an injury update for you for Louisville with their injuries on defense. We already know they're losing 3 players, or have lost 3 players in the secondary. Lost a 4th, out for the game right now. Zacchaeus Cannon, number 24, who was playing that nickel corner spot, now out for the Cardinals as well. So down 4 secondary players in the back end.
Yeah, Cannon had the interception against Etling at the end of the first half. And you see Josh Harvey Clemens, who's going to the Senior Bowl. They also have some D linemen out. James Hearns, who was shot during a celebration at a campus party after Lamar Jackson won the Heisman Trophy. Took a gunshot wound to the elbow. Here's Seth Dawkins on the return for Louisville, trying to get the corner. And one of the better returns for Louisville in this game, out past the 30-yard line. Jake Browning and the Washington Huskies getting ready to take on Alabama. Browning, the Offensive Player of the Year in the Pac-12. What will he have to do in this game? Play out of his mind, I would imagine, right?
He's got to be very smart with the football. Alabama has been so opportunistic defensively, not just picking up fumbles and intercepting passes, but scoring on defense so far this year. He's got to play the best game of his life, which is usually the case when it comes to beating the Crimson Tide.
He'll be going up against the true freshman quarterback on the other side in Jalen Hurts, who has not looked like a true freshman this year. Jackson finds Hicatini, his first catch of the game, and it's a first down for Louisville. And they put together, though, consecutive completions. That's only the 3rd completion all day for Jackson.
Yeah, but it's good by Jackson to say, hey, Hicatini, you dropped the last one, I'm coming right back to you. That's a veteran play for the sophomore.
Running straight ahead is Jeremy Smith up to the 49-yard line. Picking up 6.
Tom, I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen much tempo out of Louisville today.
Well, I am too, but the problem with tempo, if you can't get first downs, you're completely out of your element, and that's really been the issue, is they have not been able to get ahead of the chains on early downs to establish that tempo.
Jackson keeps it here. and gets a first down to the 44-yard line. All right, let's take a look at predictions that we came up with. We really went out on a limb in this first game with Alabama. You got Alabama beating Ohio State. Tom and I have Alabama beating Clemson. I haven't seen anybody pick Washington.
I believe there was one.
Lee Corso.
That picked Washington.
Chris Peterson.
The Seattle Times, I think, their beat writer probably picked Washington.
Jackson sidearms it complete. James Quick showing quick feet to the 25-yard line. 19-yard pass play. Remember when Alabama last year lost to Ole Miss with the 5 turnovers? In order for Alabama to lose, it has to be a game like that, you would think.
To a certain extent, yes. They have to make a lot of mistakes, especially with the talent gap and the depth between Alabama and Washington.
Jackson trying to show off his talent, and again the ball's on the ground. Hicatini could not come up with it. Have to make a play for your quarterback at some point. Your guy's been getting smoked all day because of bad pass protection, and Hicatini, good defense that time by John Battle, though.
It's a perfectly thrown pass from Lamar Jackson. You got a big body NFL tight end. He's got to make that play for you, but a lot of credit needs to go to John Battle. Great pass breakup.
Jackson in trouble. Another drop. Boy, he did a good job to climb the pocket there, but Jalen Smith dropped it. 3rd and 10.
That was a difficult one to catch, down around the knees, running full speed across the field. Here, Tom, 3rd and 10. I think it's 4-down territory. So not necessarily have to get all 10 yards on this play.
As the 3rd quarter winding down here, I don't think there's any question. This has been a heavy tight end focused drive. Let's see if they stick with it.
0 for 11 on 3rd down. Here's Jackson running it, and he stumbles. But that's a good pickup on 3rd down to put them in 4th and 2. They ran that play knowing they would go for it on 4th down. So it'll be 4th and 2 inside a minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
Looking at the personnel group for Louisville, getting in a tight huddle. I saw number 46, Lamar Atkins, the fullback in the game. Might be thinking something downhill.
It's a play fake and a pass that's caught for a 1st down. So Tobridge with the catch. That was a beautiful fake by Louisville.
Outstanding fake. When they get in that I formation, they like to run it right up the pipe. That time, opting to break a tendency and throw it out in the flat for a big 1st down.
Can they pay it off now with a touchdown inside the 15-yard line? Design run for Jackson. He's mauled after a gain of 1. Godchow with a tackle. And that ends the 3rd quarter. Louisville with a chance to cut into that LSU lead, but it's a 20-point advantage for the Tigers after 3. The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
With class-exclusive 4-corner air suspension for a smooth, controlled, level ride. And the class-exclusive Rambox cargo management system, only Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups, have the power to light up every holiday. The countdown is on. The Ram Big Finish event ends January 3rd. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 75 months on the 2016 Ram 1500.
Want to save on a new Nissan during the Go Rogue year-end event. For a limited time, save up to $10,000. Get to Nissan now for last-minute savings on our full line. Offers end January 3rd. Take on any Galaxy. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, only in theaters. Hurry in and save up to $10,000 on select models, or get 0% financing for up to 72 months on 11 models.
Wishing you a Happy New Year from all of us at KOCO5.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. LSU a quarter away from getting that trophy, up 20 on Louisville. Well, the Cardinals with a chance to cut into that deficit right here. A 2nd and 10 at the 13-yard line of LSU. And Lamar Jackson on this drive, more completions than he had the entire game previous. He's got 3 on this drive. Play action. Jackson rolling out. Now throws. Tipped. Incomplete. Nearly picked off at the goal line. John Battle had his hands on it for LSU.
Very fortunate here for Lamar Jackson. He sees the wide receiver streaking across the field. However, he does not see number 26, John Battle. It's a great job by the LSU safety, reading the quarterback's eyes and anticipating where he's going to throw the football. Tremendous recognition.
So the last 3rd down when they were inside the red zone, they ran it. Let's see if they do it here, knowing they're in 4-down territory. Oh, Jackson will throw it. Oh, an open man and another drop. Wow. It was Stanberry. It's 3 drops, maybe 4 on this drive alone for Louisville.
He had his man wide open underneath. Stanberry got to catch that. Petrino so disappointed with his offense's effort so far today. Just haven't been able to get anything going, but you have to give a ton of credit to LSU with the way they've played.
Now they're going to try the field goal here from 30 yards. Not sure how much this will help. If you make it, still down 3 possessions, but it's good. 26-9, 17-point LSU lead, but a lot of time left. 14:43 to go.
Cassidy Hubbard with your studio update. Georgia Tech up 23-3 over Kentucky in the 4th. Cats needing something. Steven Johnson to Dorian Baker, who lays out for the touchdown. Yellow Jackets up 13 over on ESPN. Now Georgia Tech's basketball team also doing well versus UNC. And number 5 Duke, without suspended Grayson Allen, down double digits to Virginia Tech. That game on ESPN2. Dave, Greg, back to you.
All right, thank you, Cassidy. Here it's a 17-point game after a Louisville field goal. 26-9 LSU. The Tigers trying to get their 8th win of the season and give Ed Orgeron his first official win as head coach. The 5-2 record. His record as the interim coach. Got the job just after Thanksgiving. Here's Geis from the 2 for LSU. He's got 2 touchdowns today, 1 on the ground, 1 receiving. And here he goes on the kick return. Oh, and he just slams the kicker to the ground and steps out of bounds. Oy. Blanton Creaky decided to take on Darius Geis. Bad idea.
Credit the effort for Creaky, but my goodness. Don't stand on the train tracks while the train's coming through.
Leonard Fournette right now is envious of that hit by Darius Geis.
Hey, guys, kickers are people, too.
Wow.
They will be laughing at that one on film for years to come.
Got to give Creaky credit. He was there. He's the only guy left, so he had to be there.
Kid. Go low.
Well, in all seriousness, Yopi's all right. I mean, he did get drilled.
He did.
Being talked to right now on the sideline. First down for LSU in Louisville territory. They run Darrell Williams, and he's tackled for a loss of 1 on the play. We've seen guys lay out defenders before in the stadium. Let's take you way back to 2011. I mean, look at that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Of course, the chin strap. How did it taste on that block there?
A little salty.
Oh, you're pretty happy with yourself, as were your teammates. But again, we hope Creaky's okay, because that was quite the lick he took.
I think he's going to be okay. He was talking and smiling, and certainly hope that everything's just fine for him. He's done a nice job today.
So did Julio at least give you props for that block?
Absolutely not. He said, I set it up for you. I said, you're right.
Etling throwing a deep ball. Incomplete, but a flag. Intended for DJ Chark. And there's another injured Louisville defensive back, Ronald Walker, shaken up on the play.
Ronald Walker, another one of those corners who is in a reserve role today.
Actually, pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And check that. It's Zykesis Cannon, who actually had left the game earlier and now is back out there getting hurt again. So it's Cannon that's shaken up on the play. And he got called for interference as well.
Hope he's okay. Pretty awkward way to fall. Chark for LSU has been so good this year. I think he's just scratching the surface of what he's going to be, trying to get him a deep ball down the field. And Zykesis Cannon just didn't look back for the football, resulting in the pass interference. It's a good call by the officials.
Good to see Cannon on his feet. But with Harvey Clemens out, Tremaine Washington, Shaq Wiggins out, in the secondary with it, those guys injured, and then the two linebackers who were shot in the celebration party at for the Heisman Trophy going to Lamar Jackson. Henry Famarua and James Hearns both sent to the emergency room that night, but both are here and are recovering. And as mentioned, Harvey Clemens out because of a hamstring injury. And LSU's got a first down on the 35. Darrell Williams is in at running back, had 40 carries all season coming into today. Dupree on the catch and brought down after a 3-yard pickup by Jair Alexander.
Now when Matt Canada takes over officially as the offensive coordinator, I think that aspect right there of this offense, first down completions, that's going to be something he's going to make a priority. So often on first and second down, you saw run right, run left, and then you had to throw it if you didn't pick it up on first and second down. They got to be more balanced on first down in 2017.
Etling to throw, going to the fullback, J.D. Moore. And Moore has a first down. Greg, you said earlier you thought that it would be a clean slate in terms of picking a quarterback. Do you think Etling gets the benefit of the doubt at all because of what he's been able to do? If they hold on, he'll be 7-3 as a starter this year.
I would imagine he'll get the first reps in spring, but they'll rotate it because Brandon Harris, from a talent standpoint, is the best quarterback they have right now. And Tom, I know you know their quarterbacks that are signed and committed and ready to play. They have a lot of talent as well.
Yeah, they do. And really, if you're an LSU fan, that's what you wanted to see. You want to see the quarterback position addressed, as we see another handoff here. But the two quarterbacks, it's interesting. Both of them down here with us in the Under Armour All-America game. Lowell Narcisse is a true dual threat type of guy, dynamic athlete, where Miles Brennan is your true passer. Both players committed to LSU, and both players I talked to this week firmly believe in what Ed Orgeron and what Matt Canada are doing on offense and are committed to the Tigers and are willing to come in here and compete, and may the best man win.
And one thing about the quarterback position, Tom, they just haven't had any consistency.
Right.
This is the 5th different starting quarterback in a bowl game for LSU the last 6 years. Some by way of injury, some by way of poor play. No consistency at that position.
Etling lobbing one, and the receiver got held. DJ Chark, so this will be another Louisville penalty. Well, Brandon Harris started the Texas Bowl last year and then started the first 2 games this year. They lost to Wisconsin week 1 at Lambeau Field.
Whether it be Jordan Jefferson in the national championship or Zach Mettenberger in the Chick-fil-A Bowl in 2012, Anthony Jennings is actually the only quarterback that LSU's had that started 2 bowl games in the last 6 years. So finding the right guy is going to be important.
Defense number 10, spot foul, automatic first down.
That's on Alexander.
Now, most defensive back coaches are going to be pretty upset with a pass interference. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset in the defensive secondary room there. It's a good penalty because if he doesn't grab him, it's a touchdown for the Tigers.
First down inside the 20 for LSU. Play fake. Etling just throws it into the dirt. Louisville fans want grounding, but there was a receiver in the area. Well, we asked head coach Ed Orgeron this week, why Matt Canada? Why did you select him? And he said the biggest thing was that he was willing to do whatever it took. It wasn't going to be about his offense. It was going to be about the players and then shaping his offense around the talent that they have at LSU.
And I think that's one of the best things you can do as an offensive coordinator. Don't come in hard-headed thinking they're going to run what I do well. You come in being flexible, thinking I'm going to run what they do well.
Here's Williams straight ahead and able to push the pile and muscle his way to the 15.
Hey, Greg, I think that will be also one of the reasons, as we have another penalty flag here, why Matt Canada might not watch too much film on Danny Etling.
There's no foul. There's no personal foul. It was an unnecessary shove, but no foul.
Or Brandon Harris, because you want to have that blank canvas and let those guys show you what they can and cannot do as you start to mold the offense around accentuating the strengths and masking the weaknesses.
I watched Matt Canada this year at Pitt, and he was truly remarkable.
How about the Clemson game, Greg? He runs a triple option.
Triple option principles, not your traditional triple option,
right,
but with shovel passes and speed options and quarterback run game. He's very, very good.
Etling on third down and 8 in trouble, but able to escape. Etling's got running room and dives for the first down marker and will be close. Actually, it looks like based on that spot, he'll be a yard short. We'll see if LSU keeps the offense on the field here for fourth down.
Great effort by Danny Etling.
Did he step out of bounds? When he stretched that ball out, it looked hard to tell if that foot was on the chalk when he reached that ball out.
He was short, but he definitely gave it all he had to try to get there. You have to applaud that competitive spirit. That's the number one thing that Ed Orgeron and Matt Canada, when they decide on who their quarterback's going to be, he's got to be a relentless competitor, making plays like that all the time in practice.
3 more points for LSU after the Delahousse field goal. 29-9 Tigers.
The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. And Pacific Life, helping generations of families achieve long-term financial security for over 145 years.
Thunder Mountain and the Teacups, a big hit with the LSU Tigers. What did you like? You went over there the other day.
I did. We went over to Epcot. I'm a big fan of Test Track. That's my favorite ride in all the Disney properties.
Especially since you just got your license.
That's a good point. Except they didn't let me drive the car on Test Track. I sat in the back row in the middle. So
with the booster seats.
Yeah, fitting of where I needed to ride.
Booster seats.
Samuel takes a knee. It'll come out to the 25. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Lamar Jackson, 5 of 19 passing. He had 4 drops on that last drive. He's been sacked 7 times. Geis has 137 yards rushing, 2 total touchdowns. And how about Jackson is about 300 yards short of his average per game this season in total offense.
Just goes to show you how good LSU's defense has been today. Very dialed in and showcasing the incredible talent they have at every position.
Jackson to the air here. Gonna uncork one, underthrown and batted away. Seth Dawkins maybe saved an interception. Jamal Adams in coverage. Now coming up later today on ESPN, the 2 college football playoff semifinal games. First, it's Alabama-Washington, followed by Ohio State and Clemson tonight at 7 o'clock from University of Phoenix Stadium. And we got to see Clemson twice and Ohio State twice this season, so pretty good feel for both teams as they run Radcliffe here for about 3. Who do you like in this game, Greg?
I like Ohio State. Look at the quarterback matchup. And I strongly prefer the way Deshaun Watson's played this year. JT Barrett hasn't really showcased the accuracy and the consistency that we thought we might get from him, but he's been dynamic with his legs. Deshaun Watson at quarterback has been remarkable outside of the interceptions. He's had so many mistakes in the passing game this year. I think that Ohio State secondary is going to make a lot of plays tonight.
Jackson finds Staples for a first down past midfield. Keep in mind with JT Barrett that he finally gets his shot. 2 years ago, he's thinking that he's going to get to play for a national title. He gets hurt against Michigan. Cardale Jones goes in and they win the national title. But now it's Barrett's opportunity as Dante Jackson is injured for LSU.
JT Barrett is one of the best leaders in college football. It's going to be fun to see him tonight in what could be a shootout against the Heisman Trophy runner-up Deshaun Watson.
Well, Jake Browning has had some terrific games this year, but he has not seen a defense like Alabama. Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year. Goes for the upset at 3 Eastern on ESPN. We're about an hour or so away from kickoff. First of 2 college football playoff semifinals today on ESPN. The Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl trophy on the line here, and LSU has dominated throughout, leading 29-9, holding the Heisman Trophy winner to about 140 yards of total offense in this game. Only 6 completions all day. Been under duress for a good part of it. Had a lot of drops by his receivers as Louisville runs it on 1st and 10. Radcliffe picking up 2 or 3. Well, you look at the offense of Washington led by Browning against that Alabama defense. All those years, Greg, you played at Alabama and been around Alabama. Is this the best defense they've had?
I think it is. From an athleticism standpoint, it's unmatched. It's not close, really. The front line has been created to play against these high-powered spread attacks, which is what plagued Alabama in the past, but now they run so well at all 11 defensive positions. I think it separates this group from what they've had in some of their previous championship years.
Do you think this is the best quarterback they have played, though, this year in Jake Browning?
It is. He doesn't have a big arm, but he knows exactly where he's going with the football. He's very, very coachable. Tom, he's not going to be able to throw it down the field 60 yards in the air, but he'll absolutely dissect you with precision.
Jackson picks up the first down, scooting out of play. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I think that with Jake Browning, that whole offense is based on timing, rhythm, getting the ball out quick. Well, they know that that clock's going to have to speed up in Jake Browning's mind, because that's what Alabama's going to try and do, disrupt that flow, get them off schedule. If Jake Browning holds onto the football, Washington's offense is in trouble, because now you're taking them out of their comfort zone.
Jackson's throw on target. One of the better throws of the day to Travion Samuel, a first down, a gain of 17.
Really nice throw from Jackson right there. That's what we saw all year long. Moving, extending, throwing a perfectly accurate pass right on the face mask of the wide receiver. We just haven't seen that today because LSU has disrupted the rhythm of the passing game so much.
Jackson leaves the pocket, throws incomplete. There is a flag, though. John Battle all over Brandon Radcliffe in the end zone. We talked a lot about LSU and what LSU's offense will look like next year. Well, what about Louisville? As Lamar Jackson will return for his true junior season to try to win a second straight Heisman Trophy, and obviously he's going to be in the mix. They've got a lot of players back. They'll lose Radcliffe. It was the intended target
Pass interference. Defense number 26. This foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
An obvious pass interference there. Number 26, John Battle, who's had a nice game, but Jackson, what he's done with his legs this year, that's not going away. But if he can continue to develop as a passer and beat teams from the pocket, this offense won't miss a beat, even though they're losing a lot of key playmakers.
Jackson tried the bootleg, now in trouble, and throws it away. Well, they say that he was down, or was it a forward pass? The officials are having a conversation here. He was outside the pocket. I don't know that the ball got back to the line of scrimmage, which was the 2-yard line.
It did not. This should be intentional grounding. It was about 2 yards short of the line of scrimmage. There it is.
Intentional grounding, offense number 8. The quarterback was out of the tackle box. However, the pass did not cross the line of scrimmage. Loss of down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
You can see the down marker right there. About 2 yards short. The officials will get that every single time. Remember, if you're outside the tackle box, it still has to get to the original line of scrimmage in order to ground the football.
So that's a costly mistake there by Jackson. And you have to wonder, too, he tries to make the great play almost every time, and that's got to be tough because a lot of times it works. And so how do you coach it when a lot of times he's making guys look silly?
I think you just got to tell him to be him, and you'll take the good in with the bad all the while.
Complete to Seth Dawkins there.
See right there, Greg, when we talk about throwing from in the pocket, he did exactly what you want. He held the safety in the middle of the field, knew he had the slant coming underneath, delivered it on time. So he shows flashes, and some of those flashes are spectacular. If you can just get them to consistently be outputted at this offense, man, the sky's the limit for him.
Here's third down and goal. Remember, this drive started on the 2. No touchdowns yet for Louisville. Jackson stood up at the 4 by Lewis Neal. And the Cardinals will go for it here. 4th and goal from about the 4 or 5 yard line.
Jackson decided to pull that ball, but to tell you the truth, I think he might have been better off handing it to his running back, Jeremy Smith, who had daylight going north and south. Now, 4th and 5. Obvious gotta-have-it situation. Still unlikely that they're going to be able to make a game of it, but need to get some confidence going for the offense as they head into what could be a long off season.
It's a shovel pass, and they're not going to get in. Stanberry tackled after a gain of about 1 on the play, and so LSU will take over on downs.
Big players make big-time plays when the opportunity presents itself. Leave it to the All-American Jamal Adams to get a 4th down stop.
A complete breakdown of the college football playoff semifinal games tonight with Scott Van Pelt. Sports Center at night. Obviously news from other sports, but the main focus will be the college football playoff semifinals. It's after Ohio State and Clemson. First, it's Washington against the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, true freshman quarterback Jalen Hurts. About 45 minutes from now over on ESPN from Atlanta. LSU takes over on downs, leading Louisville 29-9. Here's the 24th carry of the day for Darius Geis. Well over 100 yards, has 2 total touchdowns. Let's go to the studio. Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Dave. Kentucky looking to make a comeback. Steven Johnson scrambles. He runs about 43 yards, but gets the 21-yard touchdown here, tiptoeing. They added a 2-point conversion as well, so it's an 8-point game now with over 3 to play over on ESPN. Dave, Greg, back to you.
Now Kentucky beat Louisville in the final regular season game, and if the Cardinals end up losing this one, it'll be 3 straight losses for Louisville. Movement by LSU here. Good year for Kentucky. Had some good wins. Played decent against Alabama. We saw them in September.
Yeah. Louisville got revenge when it came to the basketball game, though. We got the win there.
That was a great game.
It was.
Offside, defense number 58 in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, second down.
It's on Jonathan Grenard. Good to see you expanding outside of your football world into a little college hoop. I know the Bama basketball team
not playing as well. Not playing as well. The SEC as a whole, other than Kentucky, has been pretty disappointing when it comes to hoops this year.
You'll be dialed into Super Tuesday.
You better believe it.
Brent Musburger and Sean Farnham this year. Dice on second down. It's about 3 yards.
So excited to see what Darius Geis is going to do with an entire offseason of work as the #1 tailback. I think his ability, his top-end speed, as showcased earlier on the long touchdown run. We saw him earlier in the season against Arkansas take one the distance from 96 yards away. I think he's going to be really special in Matt Canada's offense next season.
Well, they get Darrell Williams back next year as well, 230-pound running back, as Etling dumps it off for a first down to Deshaun Smith. Also, Nick Brossette will return for LSU. That quarterback numbers, Danny Etling saved the one mistake at the end of the first half, has been very solid today. But is that enough to be solid for LSU? I mean, the goals are higher than just an 8-win season.
If you were to tell LSU fans that this is the production you would get from Danny Etling today against a very good defense for Louisville, they would have taken it and ran. Jackson, on the other hand, has really struggled today getting in any sense of a rhythm.
A lot of that is the offensive line as Geis is wrapped up, and you had drops. You know, when they were trying to make that comeback, and there are 4 drops by Lamar Jackson's receivers. After that possession, you pretty much knew Louisville was not going to win the ball game. But he's made some mistakes as well. Not all on the offensive line and on the receivers, obviously.
It's a big learning opportunity for him. Hasn't experienced adversity much in his college career. Last year, remember the bowl game against Texas A&M, he put on an absolute show. Now he has a whole offseason to think about this game, and he did so many good things over the course of the year. If he can continue to build and grow and become a more complete player, he'll be unstoppable.
Darrell Williams picks up a yard. Meanwhile, we talked about the open competition that LSU will have. Obviously, they'll have the tough SEC schedule. They open with BYU in Houston September 2nd. And they're going to lose a lot on defense, but that's always the case. They always have guys that are going to the NFL. You have Tre'Davious White, who's a senior, but also underclassmen, Devon Godchow and Jamal Adams, who are considering going pro, but you get Arden Key back. You lose Kendall Beckwith and Duke Riley, who was their team MVP.
Hey, you lose some All-Americans, you replace them with All-Americans. That's been what we know of LSU and their defensive prowess over the last decade.
And a timeout taken here with 3:03 on the game clock, and LSU on its way to its 8th victory. Back in a moment. Back here in Orlando, Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl. LSU on top of Louisville, 29-9. College football playoff semifinals are coming up on ESPN shortly, as the Tigers have dominated the Cardinals in this game. Only 59 plays run by Louisville and 202 yards of total offense. 3rd and 10 here for the Tigers. They called timeout just before they got a delay of game penalty, and they run Williams. He's up to the 25-yard line, but short of the line to gain. And Louisville will use a timeout, leaving the Cardinals with 2. Well, bowl season rolls on Monday with 3 more games on ESPN. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic kicks things off. And it's USC and Penn State. And the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. Auburn, Oklahoma at night in the All-State Sugar Bowl. And up next on ESPN, Washington and Alabama. John Ross, 17 receiving touchdowns in the season for UW.
John Ross is so explosive. He might be one of the fastest wide receivers that Alabama's seen this year. I think he's a sub 4.4 guy when it comes to the 40. And I really believe that he'll be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. He is so good and makes it so difficult on corners and one-on-one coverage.
How many of those Alabama dudes on defense will be first-round picks, you think?
Can I say 12? Out of the 11 starters? A whole bunch, that's for sure.
Maybe 2 of the top 4 or 5 guys drafted will be on that Alabama defense. Bad punt for LSU. Louisville will start at midfield. Tune in to ESPN3 for the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl trophy ceremony presented by Capital One immediately following the game. This performance by LSU has to be encouraging for those that were in support of Ed Orgeron getting the head coaching job. The offense showed a lot of creativity in this ball game, and obviously they got a new coordinator coming in, and the defense again was stout.
And the execution was outstanding. Very balanced offensively. A few big plays. Something to build on for sure.
Lamar Jackson just throws it away there with pressure coming. That LSU defense holding Louisville to 36 points below its average, which leads the nation. No touchdowns today for Louisville.
I think what's truly fascinating too is how well LSU on defense has played on 3rd down. Louisville just 2 of 16 with one of the best players in college football obviously calling the shots at quarterback.
Jackson fires to Dawkins. Well, think about Dave Aranda's defense gave up 16 touchdowns all year, second to Alabama. 5 of those were in a win against A&M. They only gave up 3 touchdowns in their 4 losses.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If they just would have had a little bit more against Wisconsin, who knows how the season would have gone if they would have won that game to start the year. Here's Jackson taking off, fumbled the ball. That's been a problem for Lamar Jackson of late. He gets a first down, but then he coughs it up and LSU recovers.
First down.
It was Riley that recovered it for the Tigers.
He's put the ball on the deck 8 times this year. And it's really gotten him of late. In November alone, he fumbled it 5 times and lost 4 of them. Another part of his game that he can improve upon. Keeping that ball high and tight, tucked away when he's in traffic. Ed Orgeron loves what he sees. He's got to be thrilled the way his team has played today.
They have lost 22 fumbles now and 32 turnovers overall for Louisville this year.
It's not because they haven't worked on it. Bobby Petrino told us point blank, look, I've worked it more this year than I ever have as a head coach, and yet it's still been a problem. Big point of emphasis heading into 2017.
Good run by Darrell Williams picking up the first down to the 46-yard line.
Sometimes there's that delicate fine line where you work it so much and then it ends up becoming something that you just can't get away from. You know, that's frustrating as a coach. I've been there on that one where you're just trying to find ways to heal that wound, and the more you emphasize it, the worse it sometimes seems to get.
And that play, Tom, really was kind of the story of the game. As soon as something good happens, Louisville makes a mistake, and LSU has made every play that's been presented to them. It's been a great performance from the Tigers and a performance to forget if you're the Louisville Cardinals.
By the way, as you see on our bottom line, Dalvin Cook, to no one's surprise, announcing that he is going to the NFL draft. Cook to Florida State. Darius Geis coming back to LSU next year, and he's our Capital One player of the game. 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had that long kickoff return where he flattened the Louisville kicker.
You could make a strong argument on behalf of the LSU defense as well. Darius Geis, a deserving player of the game, no doubt, had a fantastic game. But I think if you're going to give credit to a part of this team, it has to be the defensive line and linebackers for the LSU Tigers.
They give up 217 yards today, a season best for the LSU defense. One more snap and this game is over. I want to take an opportunity to thank our great crew for its work throughout the season, led by our producer Brian Ryder, our director Mike Royd. It's been a fun year, and we look forward to 2017. So does Ed Orgeron. He's excited about what this team can do next year.
Oh, he's not looking forward to this Gatorade bath he's going to get here in a couple minutes.
Although at least it's 75 degrees, so it ain't that bad.
Greg and I will miss you, Davey boy. Enjoy basketball.
You get to go work with Bill Walton. I know that you're excited about that.
I'll just lay out. LSU beats Louisville 29-9. First win officially for Ed Orgeron.
They got him good with that Gatorade bath. Well done. This season could have gone one of two ways. Could have gone south 2-2 at the end of September. Ed Orgeron righted the ship, rallied the troops, and they played their heart out for him down the stretch. And never been more evident than it was here in Orlando at the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl.
Final score 29-9. LSU beats Louisville. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganbill, again our outstanding crew. I'm Dave Pash. More football to come. College football playoff is next. Be sure to catch the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl trophy ceremony presented by Capital One coming up next on ESPN3. So long from Orlando.